On to react to some of the top soccer headlines going on in the soccer world. This is a little bit tricky in the fact that my Wi-Fi is actually gone down, which is why if you're watching the stream, you probably see some of the effects of that going on right now. My Wi-Fi is really bad, so but we'll try our best. Aston Villa, they have agreed with a deal to sign. Aston Villa has agreed to a deal to sign Amadou Onana. Amadou Onana has agreed to sign with Aston Villa from Everton. Now, obviously, this is a position of a need for Aston Villa. They need someone to play alongside John McGinn in there since Douglas Luiz has gone to Juventus, and Aston Villa were able to complete the signing. It's nobody disclosed how much it cost, but the sources reported that the deal is around £50 million, or 50 million euros. And Villa also did not reveal the length of Amadou Onana's contract. The Belgian international started his career playing at Hamburg before he moved to Lille, and then he moved to Everton, where he played 75 matches for them since joining in 2022. And Onana also has 17 caps for Belgium and was a huge part of their campaign at this European Championships when they were eliminated in the European Championship round of 16 by France. And this is a player that's been linked with a lot of the top clubs in the world, or a lot of top clubs in England, including Chelsea, Arsenal, United. And it's looking like Villa is going to be his next move, which I think is a forward move up from Everton. He gets out of that relegation sort of race of a team, and he moves up to a team that's playing now Champions League football, and that has real pedigree nowadays of playing, very good football. I think a coach like good evening. He's skipped the name of his head. The name of his the name of Aston Villa's manager is skipping my head. Good evening. Unai Emery. I think Unai Emery can really get the best out of him, get the best out of his ability, can get him working good alongside John McGinn. And it's going to be very fascinating to watch. Javier Aguirre, official, he's named Mexico coach, but something that was rather shocking in my opinion, but also, heartwarming if you're a Mexican fan. Rafael Marquez, he is gonna join on Javier Aguirre as an assistant coach for this Mexican national team. He's actually gonna leave Barcelona's B team to take on this role as the Mexican assistant. Now, Javier Aguirre, no real surprise there. There's been reports going on for a while, and the fact that he wants to or Mexico wanted him to replace Lozano. They wanted to make Lozano an assistant coach and elevate him to the head coaching position after the 2026 World Cup. But obviously Lozano, after being the coach of Mexico, is not really looking for that sort of, isn't really looking for, doesn't really want to take that sort of jump to being an assistant coach. That was kind of embarrassing for him. So obviously he wasn't going to do that. So Mexico decided, because obviously this is something that they would have only dreamed of, but they approached Rafa Marquez to take that assistant coach job for Mexico, and he left the Barcelona B team, the Castilla for Barcelona, to take on the role. He was the head coach of that team, to take on the role for the Mexican national team as an assistant coach for me, which is, really shows the love and passion he has for his country, and it's something that should be applauded. Really very commendable by him. great show of character, personality, drive, effort, and shows his love for Mexico. And it's something I applauded because, let's be honest, going from, if you're the coach of Barcelona B team, you're putting yourself in a position to potentially take on the reins at Barcelona one day. That's a high role, in being the head coach of the team. It's a massive role, and to leave that role to be an assistant coach for Mexico. I mean, in essence, it looks like a downgrade, but it really isn't, in the fact that this now puts him in a brilliant position to take over the role of Mexican national team head coach after the 2026 World Cup. And it's actually reported that Aguirre is going to initially take the head coaching job and lead them for 2 years through the 2026 World Cup before he leaves the role for Rafael Marquez, who'll take the charge as they prepare for the 2030 World Cup. So it really shows the real love and dedication that he has for his country to leave Barcelona B manager to join Mexico. When FMF was talking about this move, both moves, they were saying this is what they said, Javier has a strong track record with experience and undisputed leadership in team management, while Rafa has great skill and talent development. Javier Aguirre led Mexico to the round of 16 in multiple World Cups. In 2002, where they lost to the US, that famous 2-0 game, and then the 2010 World Cup, where they lost to Argentina in that round of 16. And then while speaking about it, the director of the Mexican national team, Julio Daviano said, Aguirre is without a doubt the Mexican coach with the longest and most recognized career abroad, and he also has in-depth knowledge of the processes in national teams. Rafa is one of the most important players in Mexican history, with a great national and international career, who began his coaching career with an emblematic team. We have offered him to be the assistant until 2026 so that he can contribute his knowledge and then assume the leadership. I think it's great for him. Now Javier Aguirre and Rafael Marquez, they have a journey in front of them. They have a Mexican team that really lacks that real quality. Let's be honest. They lack the quality of previous Mexican teams, and it's the worst Mexican national team that I've seen in my lifetime, which kind of makes the move that Rafa Marquez from going from Barcelona B team to Mexico even more surprising in me. I know he's taking over after the 2026 World Cup, but there's no real shining light at the end of the tunnel with this Mexican national team. This is a team with a real lack of quality, and this is a huge jump for Javier Aguirre. Now, the first thing that they need to get ready for is these friendlies that they'll be playing in the U.S. against New Zealand and Canada, and then Javier Aguirre, this is he's an intense coach. He has a great experience of coaching a lot in Europe, as he talked about there, and he's also coached other national teams like Japan and Egypt. So this is a well-decorated individual, well-decorated manager, and he's really gonna test these Mexican players. I remember the lead up in the 2010 World Cup. They played like 3 friendlies in 1 week in preparation for it, where they took on the defending champions Italy, they took on England, they took on Netherlands, like 3 top European teams within a week. And he was so clever in the way that he played 1-11 in one game and played a whole different 11 2 days later, and then played a combination in the third, which he managed the minutes really cleverly, and he did a great preparation for them and really tested them against top level. There was, he challenged the players to go play in Europe. He, most of it, he was the first manager really in there that brought, a high amount of European-based players. Before Javier Aguirre was, mostly the domestic. It was all Mexican players were playing domestically. So I think this is a coach that's gonna demand the next level, demand greatness, and he has huge pedigree, and he is one of the more successful Mexican managers there has been. But at the same time, this is not really the holy grail of moves for Mexico national team, because let's be honest, he's only made it to the round of 16, and that's what Mexico, that's what Mexico are trying to get past the El Quinto Partido. They haven't been pounded around the 16 in such a long time. I think that it's been since what, 94 now. It's a ridiculous long amount of time, and they want to take that. That next step. Then the final topic of the day, Chelsea, they signed USMNT prospect Caleb Wiley, 19-year-old. Chelsea announced this on Monday. Wiley will join Chelsea on a 6-year deal from Atlanta United. He's played 77 games as a left back for Atlanta United, scored 6 goals and 5 assists. The transfer value was around 11 million. When speaking about this, Atlanta United's vice president, Carlos Bocanegra, said, Caleb epitomizes the pathway that we envisioned when we started the club. Born and raised in Atlanta, he joined our academy at 11 years old, played for ATL United 2, and went on to earn every step in his path up to signing as a homegrown. We wish Caleb the best in his next challenge of his career and look forward to following this journey for our club moving forward. We're continuing our efforts to immediately reinvest in the team during the summer transfer window. Wiley actually made his debut for the U.S. men's national team when they drew 1-1 with Mexico, and when they drew 1-1 against Mexico. And he's also part of the U23 team that is going to compete for the Olympics in a few days, and he will be part of that opening game when they take on France at the Velodrome. So a great chance to really watch him play and see if he's really have that ability to play at the top level. Thank you guys for tuning into the GSMC Soccer Podcast presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support does mean a lot to us, so please remember, guys, to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. So thank you again. Thank you, guys. Thank you once again, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, guys.